I pray a lot when I came here. I pray so much, you know, for set up me and take away all that said to me. Yeah.
Because you had so much sadness and you needed it to be gone.
Yes.
And how did the sadness go away?
Yes. Now I'm happy right now.
And this young boy asking me, "Why are you wearing dark glasses?" I said, "What? Why are you wearing dark glasses?" And I didn't know what to say. I said, "Oh, you wouldn't want to know."
I met some good people, good people. I mean, they all gone, and we have to carry on what the dreams. That's what I feel today.
Look around you. Look what God gave. Look around. A lot to appreciate about. I still have a good mind. Thank God for that. You know what I mean? It's the way you think, the way you perceive things.
These are 4 of the last individuals from the dwindling population of Hansen's disease patients in the Kalaupapa community on Moloka. We'll hear more of their memories and find out how each found a sense of peace after much sickness and sorrow. Coming up next on a special edition of Long Story Short.
One-on-one engaging conversations with some of Hawaii's most intriguing people. Long Story Short with Leslie Wilcox.
Aloha mai kako, I'm Leslie Wilcox. On this edition of Long Story Short, we're recalling our 2009 trip to the remote Kalaupapa Peninsula on the north shore of Moloka, where we talk story with some of the last remaining patients there. Kalaupapa is a place of great natural beauty, and yet it will always be linked to the once dreaded disease leprosy, also called Hansen's disease. Starting in 1866, thousands of Hawaii residents diagnosed with this disease were ripped from their families and quarantined in Kalaupapa. When I spoke with these 4 residents in 2009, they were preparing to travel to Rome for the sainthood ceremony for Father Damien. He was their hero who cared for patients in Kalaupapa and ultimately died of leprosy. First, we visit with Norbert Kaiama Palea, who was just a keiki when he was taken to the old Kalihi Hospital Detention Center. His next stop was Kalaupapa, where his father had already been forced to go.
My name Kaiama is when I was a child, when I was about a year old, my grandfolks told my mom, "I'm going to be taken away from her." Just like that. So they said, "I'm going to give you the name Kaiama," means strong leader.
Like the ama in the ocean of a canoe.
Right, you're not going to falter on the side and all that. So, and I believe that, on the name.
So when you received the name Kaiama and you were told, they knew you had to be strong and they said you'd be taken away, what was that all about?
I know this before. My name is Norbert, but all my brothers and sisters, my family, they don't call me Norbert. Only the family call me that name. So all my brothers and sisters begin to call me that every time they come. So I become it. I don't know, but they start calling me that name.
Do you think it was destiny that you came here, fate, or was that just a lucky guess that somebody thought you were going to be taken away?
It was destiny, and I have no regrets about it, none whatsoever. I feel this way, that, the more when something sad happens to you, you grow from that. Sadness is a good thing, A lot of people say, "Oh, sadness makes you changes your whole outlook in life." Now, so my mother said, don't turn around. So when we got on the plane, I remember that, just before coming. Everybody was crying, and I was singing. It's like they wailed, their crying was above my voice. So I remember I just looked back, and then I still remember their faces. My mother and my sister, they were crying. In fact, before they were crying, my mother said, "Remember now, family, don't cry now." And she said, I said, "Mom, how come they're crying?" But nobody's crying. I don't see no tears, but I can feel it, And she said, "Oh, because they love you." My mother had all the answers for everything. She was a wizard.
Here's a mom who lost her husband and the 11th child.
So, and then, yeah, my mother was a very strong lady. She believed in God and everything, you know. So, she instilled in me something that no professors of mine that I've had over the years can ever give you that kind of value.
Your mom, you say, was very strong, and of course she had other children. You were the 11th, but I can't believe she would have been that strong for so long, not being with her little boy.
Every time when I used to go home for funerals, and I just went to 2 recently. Every year I'm going down to a funeral. There's so many of us. There's hundreds of us. So I go to the funeral, and then my grandnieces, my great grandnieces, they always say to me, you know, Uncle, every time Grandma used to say, she cried every single day, even till now, you know. And my mother used to say, they cheat me of you. They robbed me, you know, the relationship between them. And my brothers and sisters too. And I said, when I talk about this place and I want to come back, my brothers and sisters, they would cry. My brother said, you didn't have the sick when you were there. Remember that. You did not have that sick. You know, you didn't do anything wrong.
There's such loneliness here, and yet such a sense of community too.
I don't feel, you know something?
You never felt lonely?
Never, ever. It's like this. I'm home here in my house. No, I know a lot of the people that's here. I'm younger than them, right? So I look up to them, I respect them. Not because I have a better education that I'm better than them. No, I'm not. I'm below them. So if I know they're sick or something, I go and take something to them. Or give up some of your time and go there. You don't have time to worry about getting sad. To me, you know, when you help other people, you're actually helping yourself.
You know, it sounds like you've made the very best of this, and you have an appreciation of abundance, not scarcity. But what about some of the folks who are here at the same time? I mean, that can't be that common a reaction, just acceptance. You must have seen a lot of defiance.
I've seen a lot of cry, it's heart-wrenching. I've seen it. And, but then as the years go by, because we have all these great leaders here, you know, one word from them, they can calm everybody down. Ole, they would say. Don't think and don't feel that way. This is just a new beginning. Death is a beginning. And while we're here, we are not to question God. Why are you here? It's not for you or me to say, oh, why did you give me this sick? You know what I mean? The thing is to accept it and make the best out of it. And then appreciate everything that's around you. And then one day you're going to see the beauty you see. Even if you send us here, but look around, you know what I mean? Look, He gave us the most beautiful home in the world. That's the icing on the cake.
Thanks to the discovery of effective treatment in the late 1940s, Norbert Kaiama Palea was eventually able to leave Kalaupapa to attend college and pursue a successful career in fashion design. He traveled widely and returned. He told me several times during our conversation that he was kolohe, or a rascal, not a typical patient. Not long after we spoke near the large breadfruit trees in his yard in Kalaupapa, he was arrested. The feds took him into custody on suspicion of possession of methamphetamine with intent to distribute it. He pleaded guilty in August of 2010 and served almost 5 years before his release in 2015. Next, we chat with Clarence Kalihihiwa, better known by his nickname Boogie. Just a bit older than Norbert, he was diagnosed 2 years later, and by then many patients were being treated at the Hale Mohalu facility in central Oahu. Still, that meant uprooting the 8-year-old boy from his home in Kalapana on the Big Island. Boogie had already said goodbye to 3 siblings, and eventually he would follow them to Kalaupapa.
Why do they call you Boogie? The real story?
Long story short, long story short. Okay. World War II. I think I was about 3 years old when my, you know, we come from Kalapana, and we had the old type gas mask. And going to school, even in kindergarten, we still had to carry our gas mask. But my sister them used to, scared me, and then they call it boogeyman, boogeyman. I said, that's how I got the name.
Did you actually get diagnosed?
Yes, I did. Yeah.
And how old were you?
I was about 9. Yeah.
So-
Or maybe
so-
I was 18, 49.
Was there a lot of worry on your part, on your family's part, that you were going away to be checked out for a blemish? And
No,
when your sister and brother went, they didn't come back. They went into...
I think it was more on my mom's side. And in fact, I was kind of, in a way, I was kind of happy that I was in Honolulu because, Honolulu was a different island to me. And it didn't bother me, really, that I was separated at that time until maybe about 2-3 days. And then when my mom and them left me there, and then they came back short while afterwards, maybe about a month, they came back to Honolulu. And that's when I really, I saw my mother crying. But
And you were the third child she had lost to isolation?
I was fourth.
Fourth child.
Yeah.
So at that point, you were living in Halimohalu in Pearl City. Did they have a fence around it?
Oh, shucks. To me, it looked like one prison. You remember this picture, Stalex 17, I think it was. They got a fence up like this, and they got the barbed wire this way,
Were there other kids your age, 9 years old?
No, Norbert came in not too long afterwards. Then another week, couple, in fact, 3 more came in, and first thing you knew, in fact, when I went to Halimohalu, it looked like they just moved into Halimohalu not too long ago. After a while, I came up here.
Did anybody tell you you're going there and it's in effect a death sentence, there is no cure, people get terribly sick,
No,
and
not when
you'll
I
never
was
come
young.
back?
No, not when I was young. Because I knew I was coming here to see my sister and my brother. And I knew I was going back.
How many people were here when you came?
When I came when the first time I came here, I would say about over 500
Patients.
patients.
And now fewer than 20 at this day
Patients.
in 2009.
I would say over 5. But those days, people was dying too, see. You only hear the bell, you don't know who's that.
What was it like living here when you were a kid? What was it like?
That's all right, nobody tell me what to do. We went on the beach, no fences around. I think we have to be home at a certain time, There was a little control on don't stay up late. We have to need our nap in the afternoon, It was good. I like it. I met a lot of good people. And
Was there a lot of sickness?
yeah, there were a lot of people, really. A lot of them at that time had kidney problems, heart failures, yeah. A lot of them was blind. We had a lot of blind people, blind patients.
Did that make you afraid of what was ahead for you?
No, I didn't think that way. In fact, some of them became very good friends, and they began to tell us stories about their time.
You've been to a lot of funerals in your life,
Oh, yeah,
more
yeah.
so than the average person who does not live in Kalaupapa.
I think so too, because you gotta go, but that's the last time you can see him, whether he's lying in the coffin or what. People have this thing about they don't want to see a dead man because they want to see him how he. I know that, but it's the same when you have a photo. You wish you could have said something, or
So you go,
Yeah.
even though it takes
Yeah,
it out of you.
Yeah. You have to go.
In the fall of 2018, Boogie Kalihihiwa remains active in the Kalaupapa community. He still runs the bookstore and is president of Ka'ohana o Kalaupapa, a nonprofit organization advocating on a variety of issues, developing a new memorial for patients, and perpetuating Hawaiian culture in the community. Next, we meet a man who arrived in Kalaupapa the same year as Norbert Palea in 1947 and lived there for almost 25 years before returning to Honolulu. You may recognize Elroy Makia Malo as a noted Hawaiian storyteller, and many of the stories he's told relate to coming of age in Kalaupapa. Makia lived with his large family on Hawaiian homestead land in Papakolea until the age of 12, when symptoms of Hansen's disease appeared and he followed 2 siblings to Kalaupapa. Once there, his symptoms got worse. Is going blind a common effect of Hansen's disease?
For many, yeah. Was one of the things. Not everybody became blind, but many.
When you felt yourself going blind and knowing that others at the settlement tended to be shut-ins once they were blind, did you tell anyone? Did you?
No, not even a doctor.
You were trying to keep it a secret so that you could be out and about?
I didn't know I was blind. So the doctor asked me how I was doing. I said, okay. A whole week I couldn't see. But like I say, my mind was it was temporary. So I find my way to the bathroom, but just hanging on to the wall and crossing the floor by counting the doors where I know the bathroom is. Mm-hmm. So that evening, I got up and then looking around, listening rather, nobody in the hallway. I walk out down the hallway. I come by the nurse's station and nobody in there. And right across the nurse's station, right alongside the continuing hallway down to the outside is this pillar. I can see the light inside a telephone booth. I walk straight to the light. I said, oh, Mama, this is Makia. Mama, can you and Daddy come down tomorrow? She said, oh, yeah, okay, son. They came down, and their Daddy's end up sitting at the end of the bed. Mama sits on my right. And Mama always did this. She sits by me and she grabs my arm, she rubs my arm. And then I say, Mama, I have something to say. And Mama says, yes, son. Mama, Mama, I'm blind. Yes, son. I keep rubbing. Mama, you heard me? She said, yes, son. She continues rubbing. And each time it's getting harder and harder. Mama, I'm blind. And I could hear her sobbing as she keeps rubbing harder and harder. And my daddy, I can tell when he's crying, he starts sniffling, you know. Mm-hmm. And that was how I told my parents how I was blind.
Makia Malo did much more than survive. In 1971, he moved back to Honolulu and earned a degree in Hawaiian Studies from the University of Hawaii. Makia's talent for storytelling caught the attention of master storyteller Jeff Gear, who presented Makia to audiences. And then Makia met and married Anne Grant, who provided the vision to bring his stories to school children.
Suddenly, I see a face, an almost featureless face, a face whose eyes show the discoloration of one blind, a face whose nose has been ravaged, flattened, and the skin mottled with so many scars.
Who made the first move?
Or she wanted to take me to her apartment, and I was thinking, oh geez, how can I get home? It was from that day on she kept, you know, we just kept in touch, and I just going to see what this holy girl from the mainland coming after me. I thought she's crazy. I'm blind, I'm all jammed up. I have an embarrassing history. Didn't matter to her, but I felt bad for her. Whoa.
Sounds like she didn't complain.
No.
Her whole long marriage with you?
No, she didn't complain. She got angry often. And now and then I will get angry too. And, but she was my angel, man. Oh, God. What a life she helped me into.
In the fall of 2018, Makia Malo was living in Honolulu receiving special care. His engaging storytelling helped to share the Kalaupapa experience with young people and preserve it for future generations. At this time in 2018, Meli Watanuki works in the Kalaupapa General Store. Back in 1952, she was diagnosed with Hansen's disease in American Samoa and left her home and family for treatment in Western Samoa. Later, she came to Hawaii.
So how did you get to Honolulu?
Okay. So when I parole, you know.
They called it a parole?
Yeah, parole, just like you discharged from the sickness. Yeah, the Hansen's disease. So my stepsister was here and my stepmother. They, you know that I went discharged from October the 1958. So, you know, they told me to come here in Hawaii. And I said, well, I'm not too sure, but they said, you come, you know, you just come out from the hospital. Yeah. So that's why I came Hawaii. And then I married, and then they went, you know, I moved out. So.
You thought all your troubles were behind you? You got married?
Yes.
Did you have a baby?
Yeah. I have one child, it's a boy. So 1964, I just see it because I know when I come somewhere, you know, I don't know where to go pick up my medicine. So I thought it's finished already. And up, you know, they said, you know, you're supposed to go take your medicine. I said, no, I did not because I don't know the hospital. So I went go take tests, and just a few weeks, and Dr. Hersey, they called me. I said, yeah, you set up something with your baby and your husband, and then you gotta go at the Halemohalu. I said, oh, fine, you know. And I feel that, you know, I better not stay there because with my baby, I don't want my baby to get sick. Yeah, because he's too young. They're only 3 years old. Yeah. So I set up things, and I talked to my husband. And my husband, they think, you know, just like you go hospital, you know, and few days come back. But end up, there was not. Then he came visit me with my son. And they see, you know, all the fence around. But they get plenty other Filipino there too at Halemohalu. So they was talking about, and he said, they talk Filipino, you know, and then end up, that was the last day I see him and my son. They never come back.
So that you didn't see your son from the time he was 3
No.
to the time he was in college?
No.
You seem so matter of fact when you talk about it. How much does it still hurt? I know you've talked about it, you've had time to deal with it, but how are you with it?
I feel hurt. It's hard for me. But when they're trying to help him and tell him, you know, your mom loves you.
And now nothing?
Nothing. They never come back. They never call. No right. So I just let it go.
Now, why did you come to Kalaupapa? You weren't banished. You didn't have to live here.
I feel happy because when I came here, they was really good, you know, and they tell me, you know, anytime you can go Honolulu, you can go Las Vegas, you can go any place, but this is your home. So, oh, okay, you know. And I was really, really happy, you know, to stay here.
And how's your health?
My health is okay. Only I have asthma, you know. So it's taking care, you know, every time I go see the doctor, yes.
So the Hansen's disease is not a problem?
You know, it's finished already, yeah.
So you've had so much loss in your life. Is that how you see it?
I really, you know, feel, but you know what's happened? with all these things, they went do, I pray a lot when I came here. I pray so much, for set up me and take away all that sad to me.
Because you had so much sadness and you needed it to be gone.
Yes.
And how did the sadness go away?
Yes. Now I'm happy right now. Plus, my husband, they're so nice to me.
Meli Watanuki chose Kalaupapa as her home. In 2018, she's lived in Kalaupapa for almost 50 years with her second husband who passed away, and later her third husband, Randall Watanuki. About 8,000 patients came to Kalaupapa and most never left. In the fall of 2018, we're told only about 9 patients remain in Kalaupapa out of the dozen still living. It was a pleasure and an honor for our PBS Hawaii team to spend time with the residents. For Long Story Short and PBS Hawaii, I'm Leslie Wilcox. Aloha nui.
For audio and written transcripts of all episodes of Long Story Short with Leslie Wilcox, visit pbshawaii.org. To download free podcasts of Long Story Short with Leslie Wilcox, go to the Apple iTunes Store or visit pbshawaii.org.
So when did romance blossom?
Oh, Leslie. That was, 82 to 1995. Then that's why, and I told him that, okay, you know what? Time for me, either you marry me or not, then you stay, and you move out, and I stay in my house. So, 1995, the first week of April, I told him, okay, today is a day. Either you move out or we marry. If you're not married, you move out. If we marry, and then you stay. It's all, I cannot do this, no community. I only go to church and prayer, And then he said, I want to marry you. No kidding, are you sure?
And he wasn't kidding.
But it was not kidding.